Well, hello and good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your afternoon with us. Welcome to Diversity in Travel. And I can assure you that we are not here for a protest today, okay? We are definitely not marching to the Capitol either. I know how uncomfortable this gets once you start the conversation. And it's like, okay, what are we going to be talking about? But my goal this afternoon is that by the time you and I leave this platform, we have been able to understand a thing or two about one, diversity, two, how it is impacting us, right? And three, what can we do different in our industry? Okay, so let's get to it. My name is Abena Bondah. I am with Gemstone Marketing and Business Consulting. We are a hospitality consultant firm based out in DC. I engage a lot more with the hotel companies. We do a lot of task force work for them. We get in and get out and get stuff done when there's a lot of transition. In case you didn't know, the hotel industry has a lot of turnover. So that keeps us very busy, which we are not complaining about. And also, as part of that, let me share a little bit more. I was born and raised in Africa, Ghana, West Africa specifically. I relocated here almost 20 years ago now. Yes, right after college, I think a month or so, I grabbed my suitcase and I told my mom and my family that, I am going to the United States to really find my life. And I did. But I'll tell you what powered that. In one of my English classes, I had a professor who was so crazy about Mark Twain. And he shared a quote one time. He said, Mark Twain actually had this quote. It says, "Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow mindedness. And many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all of your time." So travel gives you exposure. You learn, you grow. You get to meet things and people and different experiences and culture. This is the only industry where you can go through 100 people from different walks of life in a day. I don't know any other industry that can do that, right? The airlines don't tell you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Millions of people in a week, a month, you name it. But that's what this industry does. But I will tell you also that unfortunately for us, we lag behind when it comes to diversity. You will think that the very industry that is used to different people, different genres everywhere, we are the ones that don't get it yet. We are still a little behind. So, hopefully, today, in our discussion, we are going to look at the business traveler in this new DEI environment. We can learn a little bit more about the role of the travel manager and the supplier in ensuring an inclusive travel experience. We can learn how to include diverse perspectives into our travel and selling strategies. If you just joined us, I want you to do me a favor. I really love to know where you're connecting with us from. I would love to, if you could just type in the chat, right? What city or state, if you're in the United States, and if you are outside the United States, I would love to know what country you're connecting with us from. And listen, if you know me personally, we've met anywhere at GBT, all these conferences, if you have met me personally, put like a three emojis there. So I know that you know me as well. Okay. Well, I did already share with you I'm with Gemstone. I started doing business travel back in 2006, matter of fact, long time ago, right? And I have to let you know one thing about business travel. I love it. I do. I do. I like dealing with people who know what they want. And that is why DNI is so important. They could tell you right now what's going to happen. You're dealing with people who are communicating to you what they're looking for. You don't have to figure it out. It's not brain surgery. Also, in my volunteer life, I like to volunteer for women and children in my community, in the immigrant community, in the African community. I'm all over there. Yes, I am. Because I love sharing new experiences and I love people meeting new people and also getting to share the experiences and culture. Very important. I do have a social life that I attend to from time to time. I love a good happy hour, getting to meet people and having fun. I do have a son and I am a Christian. And you're probably wondering, why is she talking about all this, right? I have to tell you, because this is the new way. This is the new. People are being represented by the things that are inherent in them. What you see is all the things that are important to me, my values, my principles as a person that flow out in it comes out in the output of what I put out to you. And now, in this new environment, people are very comfortable. They want you to know that they are more than their titles and their accolades and all that. No, behind the title is a force, a family, a friend, a partner, a husband, a spouse, whatever you want to call it, some religious beliefs. It is what makes people who they are. So, welcome again to Diversity in Travel, a focus on the business traveler. So in 2018, the Me Too movement started. Now it is almost so hard for anybody, especially a man, to pick up your purse when you drop it to give it to you because they're thinking, oh, she's going to say, no, 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 no. That was not the whole idea. You know, the whole idea of talking about diversity, it's not to make people uncomfortable. First of all, our fingerprint will never match. Have you noticed that? No. So you and I are unique in different ways. And so are our travelers. What is different about them? They are not just numbers. They're not just room nights. They're not just ADRs. They're beyond that. The things that make them who they are is more than what you see on their titles and LinkedIn profiles. That's just a fraction of it. You know, during the pandemic, I started seeing people posting a little more about themselves on LinkedIn. And I was confused for a second. I'm like, this is supposed to be a professional network, you know, there's Facebook, there is Instagram, but people felt the need to let you know who they are family wise. You know, some people sharing about their pets, their children who have gone through cancer. You know, some people sharing, there were a lot of interracial marriages people were posting. And I was happy to see that. I said, oh my goodness, this is the new. You can talk about who you are. You can express yourself and not think an HR person is going to sit there and wonder, you know, why did she post that? The days of controlling people, they're over. We give them vision, we let them express themselves and become better. So, Inclusion Hub actually had some very, very good simplified definition of whether you call it diversity and inclusion, whether it is diversity, equity, and inclusion for you, whether it is diversity, inclusion, and belonging, or diversity, equity, and belonging. Either or, it is communicating the same thing. So I want to read up a little bit on what they had posted. It says diversity means acknowledging all the ways people differ: race, sex, gender, age, sexual orientation, disability, socioeconomic status, religious beliefs, and more. Equality, on the other hand, is a system in which each individual is offered the same opportunities regardless of circumstance. Doesn't matter where I'm from, where you're from, we have the same opportunities. As long as we find ourselves in the same work environment, we should all be treated equally. And then you have equity. It's when resources are distributed based on needs. Everyone has access to the same thing. Inclusion, when you start practicing diversity, that is inclusion. Everyone feels welcome, they feel supported, they are respected, they are valued as individuals and groups, their voices are heard, at least. Belonging, when you have a functional structure, that people come in and their inclusion is never questioned. I met a cab driver in New York City a few weeks ago. And I could swear the mayor probably paid him because he just went talking about New York. And I think maybe it's a training they go to. And I thought, wow, the CVB there might be doing an awesome job, because this man kept talking and talking about New York and why it's a great city. But the key thing that he said, it's so diverse, and that's why I love it here. You can meet anybody from anywhere in the world right here in New York. And I said, well, I don't need to go to China then. She said, no. He said, no, you could just go to Chinatown. You can feel everywhere. And he was so excited. And I'm like, gosh, we need people like these to really champion the cities that they live in. But what he said was, I can belong here. Nobody judges me. Nobody criticizes me. I can come from anywhere and fit right in. And that is where we need to be. That is where we need to be. So now you know. Now you know the people that are traveling, that are using your facilities, that are using your product. These people come from so many places. We just find ourselves in one environment, but we come from so many places with so many ideologies and differences. But like I said, this is the only industry where you can meet different people every day. Yet, we are not there yet. When it comes to diversity and inclusivity, imagine my joy when I found this article from Accenture 2019, when after the Me Too movement started. Accenture did a research of thousands and thousands of travelers. They wanted to understand, how is diversity being managed or impacting travel companies? And guess what? They came up with a title, The Travel Industry's Best Amenity Diversity. And they did agree that we are one industry that is lagging behind in D&I initiatives. 3 out of 5 travelers are now paying attention to companies who are committed to D&I. 55% of travelers say they will book with a hotel company or a travel company that is committed to these practices and their values align with your own. Then you have companies without a strong culture of D&I, they don't want to use them. They will fail. You're not getting new customers, you're going to risk losing ones. If you think that, okay, you are structured in a certain market that does not impact it, it will not be long. This conversation is globally. Everyone is having that conversation. Everybody is having this conversation. So your business traveler today is also looking for that. Their companies have kind of spoiled them, right? They have told them this is what we're doing, this is what we stand for as a company. So when they come up there, they're also looking for that. They want to know whether you have D&I initiatives front and center. 82% of travelers, according to this research, are looking to feel welcomed and to be treated fairly. And I'm thinking, were they not welcomed at first? We don't hear all the stories that come out of these places, but now more than ever, they want to feel a sense of welcome and not just a check-in process. They don't want just that. The buyer companies are expanding their client base. So that means that they are, outsourcing services to different parts of the world. And they might have people there travel to come for training with the headquarters in the US and all these other places. The exposure is different. The understanding is different. The culture is different. Expect it now. If you haven't expected it before, expect it now. Hybrid telework has created this whole thing where there is a lot more supply than demand. So the travelers do have an option. The days when we thought we're so busy, we can close out a whole city, I don't know whether it's coming up again. But no, they have options. They don't have to stick with you the whole year. If something is not right, they don't have to do that. And companies are having a hard time retaining people. In case you don't know, especially our industry is struggling to get people back. Housekeepers don't want to work anymore. Front desk agents don't want to work anymore. They're happy having options. Thank God for Amazon and all these Uber stuff. They're just giving people so many options now. Flexibility. So now there is this new thing called leisure, business and leisure. And most companies are empowering their travelers to take advantage of that. You want to travel with a nanny? Sure. Go on. You have a little child? Yeah. So you have the nanny, you have this, you have the mother-in-law, and everybody coming. The person is going to work, the main traveler, and then they're also staying with them in the room. So guess what? They want to do leisure stuff. Are you ready for these kind of people? These travel, where it's business and leisure combined. Even if they're not traveling with everyone, they still want to enjoy the city. Do something to relax them. Connect to something, not just work anymore. The days where they just go and work, 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 go back, it's over. They want to really satisfy their personal needs as well. And they're looking for personalized services. Wi-Fi connection is great. Having a small business center, it's great, but now they don't even need to print anymore, right? Yeah, yeah. They could just show it on their phone. They could check in with their phones and all kinds of stuff now. So those things that we used to think they need, they're different now. Now they want themselves, me, myself, and I. What can you do to appeal to me, understand me? How can I feel that I'm not the odd one out here? 50% of travelers are willing to pay a premium to book a premium between 5 to 20% to book with a travel company that values D&I. Very powerful. And when I talked about the personalized services, about 74% of travelers are looking for that. They are looking. The business traveler today is empowered. They are really enamored to literally express who they are, and they are not compromising. So how can we create an inclusive business travel experience? Now, if you're the travel buyer, remember when you send those RFPs and ask for what's your CSR initiative, you even want a name, this is the time. You want to also communicate. And part of the RFP season, how many months are we away from that? September will be right here. I know for most hotel companies, we start the whole business case process way earlier ahead of time. But the whole season really starts in September, some start in August, depending on where you are or depending on what chain you're working with. But the travel directors have a way of putting together a packet, right? They put a PDF packet with all their terms and conditions, overview of the organization, and all kinds of fun, beautiful stuff. Well, this time around, if you're a travel buyer, you have to add your D&I practices and initiatives. Communicate that to the hotel supplier, or the airline supplier, or also to the car rental companies that you want to contract with. And you should also ask them to share. We might not have a specific name as a CSR where people have LEED certifications and all that, but you also want to ask, what is your company doing different? How are they responding to DEI? And if you're out there listening, and I know you are, I would love to hear your opinion as well. Like, do you have anything going on right now in your organization? If you could type it in there. Has it been communicated to you? Do you know what D&I initiatives your company is, championing or piloting? Have you even been part of it? Have you had any discussions? I would love to hear that. You also want to use modern technology. My golly, look at us here now, connecting from all over the world through technology. A few years ago, that was not possible, was it? Okay, now it is possible. So take advantage of the tools that you have at your hand. Create a travel profile for your travelers. It will give you a great idea, a summary, a report for you to understand what their travel experience, inclusive travel experience, looks like for them. Understand what they're looking for so you know which companies to buy from. Because the hotels, thank God for lifestyle brands that came up a few years ago. We started this whole lifestyle brand, and now it's a big thing, right? Hotels are branded based on a certain lifestyle. And that means it's branded based on a certain need of the person. So you can be able to know who I'm buying from, where I'm buying from, and where I'm not going. You also want to work with your suppliers to develop an online tool that your travelers can access. I have to be honest with you. Very few still have their concierge desk open. Yeah. The concierge guy, the friendly guy, he's no longer probably there. Okay. This industry is still struggling to get people back. And now, what great opportunity do we have? Such a wonderful opportunity to use technology to build an online concierge tool in your booking tool. So your people know what to expect before they even get there. You also want to invest in a feedback application forum in your online booking tool, which will enable your travelers to share the experiences real time. They're not waiting to check out to get those surveys from the companies. That's too late to address anything. We have to go back and either refund or give you a certificate for the next. No, you want things corrected when they're there. You want them to be able to share the experiences with your colleagues who are also coming there. Do I book here or do I have to go to the next preferred hotel? You also want to see before you buy. Listen, I had to order this like 3 times because every time I ordered it, it wasn't right. But I think it would have been easier, just one shot, if I just walked into the store. But today, we prefer to do things online. So it would be good for you as the buyer to go to your key market where you have all your tons of room nights there to make sure you know and experience these products before you put them on your preferred list. And then if you are the travel supplier, you want to make D&I a priority. Know and understand your company's D&I initiatives. And I know most hotel companies still are now struggling with the idea that they have to put one together, but you do have to put one together. And it should not be hidden somewhere underneath the brand side of the, and most of the time it's like, oh, the brand has it, but then the local products, do you have it? Do you understand what the brand is doing from that perspective, right? You want to make sure you have that. You are communicating that in your RFPs. You're communicating that to your client. The same way you used to taunt green initiatives, this is the time to taunt D&I initiatives. It is important to the people. 82% of travelers are looking for that. Just like CSR, market that package. Communicate that on all your platforms for booking. Include a little bit of more meat in your reservation questionnaires. It's too standard at this point. And that's fine, it does the work. However, that option where we have special requests, we should probably utilize that a little more. But if we can create other buttons of different experiences that people are expecting, people are willing to share more about themselves now than they used to. You also want to invest in D&I strategies to develop and implement initiatives that are specific to your hotel's brand, that fits in, it has to fit. We have a brand culture. It has to fit. Make that investment. And it is time to revamp the product. The companies you're using and sourcing and buying from, do they have options? I don't like to see myself at the airport because I have 2 huge suitcases all the time. And that's because half of my, personal product, we're women, as women, we can literally travel with a whole bathroom. And I have to carry all these big stuff with me because I don't want to get the tiny versions of it, throw away when you're done. So now you carry a whole product with you because somehow the shampoos or something doesn't feel right. You come out also dry. The air, being in the air dries you out anyway. Then you get down, it's completely dry. Your hair is dry, everything. Use your local vendors. They always have some great ideas to offer, products to offer. And you're supporting the businesses as well. They could be women's business, LGBT businesses, religious business, whatever it is. They have something to offer you that will create a very unique travel experience for your guests. And you want to have a D&I response team. If, God forbid, anything happens, you don't want the person to go, and now people are so quick, right? Click, social media, post. And it's like you have all these vloggers and all kinds of names now, trolls. They just pick these words and they start. And before you know, you are in the news. Not the kind of attention you need, but you are in the news for something else. This has to change. This has to change. You have to be open to evolve. We can spend all day talking about all these initiatives and things you could do, but we do not have all day. So I want to ask you, are you D&I ready for the RFP season that's coming up? Do you even have a strategy? Are you ready as a supplier to meet the needs of your travelers? Are you? I would love to hear from you. I'm going to take a quick pause here. And if you can type in a question or anything that I can answer for you, I would love to do that. But if we don't have a lot of time, this is my contact information. Please feel free to connect with me. Let's have a conversation going. I told you this could have been like a 4 hour conversation. We don't have 4 hours, okay? But I really want to thank you for your time, for sharing with us. And I told you this wasn't a practice, right? I hope you learned something, and I'm happy to connect with you so we can chit chat a little bit more. And if you would love to design something specific for your hotel, your brand as well, I would love to help if you need it. But if you're good to go, we still want to chat. If you have questions, please. I want to hear your opinion as well. I want to hear your opinion, your thoughts. How is this impacting you altogether? Are you uncomfortable with a conversation, or do you feel like at the end of this presentation you are able to now connect or speak a little more about it? Let me hear your thoughts and opinions.